Tip.
Right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Valley Indie Great Give live stream. My name is Eugene Driscoll of valleyindy.org, and I am pleased to welcome, I'm meeting him for the first time other than 5 seconds ago, Mr. Torin Bourke, the principal at the Assumption School in the great city of Ansonia. Mr. Bourke, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Eugene. Appreciate it. Glad to be
It,
here.
it is absolutely my pleasure. So, we are taping this actually in advance of the Great Give. I'm trying something different this year by trying to get a little more organized because I am just getting too old to do a 36-hour completely live stream. So, I'm cheating a little bit, but I hope at the end of the day we'll be able to fit more nonprofits and groups in. So, Principal Bourke, first tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been the principal at the Assumption School?
So this is my very first year as principal. I've been in the building here at Assumption School. This is my 7th year. I actually came to the Assumption Parish community originally as a seminarian. I was studying for the priesthood back when I was younger. The Lord had other interests for me, and I withdrew from the program and was immediately asked to take over all of the youth ministry at the parish. And then shortly thereafter, I was asked to join the school team teaching at the middle school level, and I was doing that. And then when the vacancy arose for the principalship, I was asked to assume that duty and responsibility. It's a special place, and so I've worn multiple hats here in the community, but this is my first year as principal.
First year as principal. Well, congratulations on that. The internet connection is a little choppy. I'll just let you know, but we will power through. Anybody watching, there's no editing here. We will power through it. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Windsor Locks, Connecticut. So if you think Bradley Airport, about a mile from the airport fence. That's where I was born and raised.
Oh, nice. What was it like growing up next to an airport? Did you go to P&Z meetings and complain a lot about the plane traffic, or?
No, you tend to just tune it out. It's it's just part of life there. But yeah,
you just get used to it, I assume.
yeah, yeah.
So, what was it about education that got you involved in terms of? I think were you a religious teacher at Assumption? Is that what you were saying?
I was. It's a funny thing. My brother and his wife are both in education. My wife is a special education teacher. All of them are in the public districts. I never really aspired to enter education per se. It's a funny thing. I really started working with young people sort of as a youth ministry, a faith perspective, which is inherently, it's an educational experience in a certain sense, right? Building relationship and challenging growth and, developing and all that. So I really never set out at first to be in a classroom. Though working with young people, I immediately fell in love with it. And then over time, I was given opportunities to go back to school, to study, to get the credentials and the background necessary to go into professional education, and that's what I did. So the Lord kind of put me in a perfect spot at a perfect time, and I seized the opportunity. And then from there, I've fallen in love with education in a school setting. It's a phenomenal opportunity to be able to build those day-to-day relationships and to really have that opportunity to get to know the kids, and from there challenge them to grow, to understand some of the things that they struggle with, and to maybe help build bridges so they can overcome those challenges to ultimately be the people that God calls them to be. So being that we're a faith-based school, it's a unique environment, being that that's really my background, coming from seminary, studying theology. And it's a special place where we're able to have those conversations, but also, of course, challenging the young people to, math, writing, all of the many things that go into a well-rounded person. It's a very special place.
And then, and again, it's a little choppy, so we might have to cut this a little short. I don't know how difficult it will be. I don't know if it's on my end or your end, but how many
I've got you
students?
loud and clear. I've got you clear. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be on your end. I'm not 100% sure, but this is the way every year with the Great Give. At least we'll get something. How about in terms of enrollment? How many kids are enrolled, and what grades does it go to?
Sure. We have a preschool program up through 8th grade. All in, we have about 180 students. So a class averages about 18 students in a class. And we're actually seeing an increase of enrollment, which is a beautiful thing. So the pandemic naturally had its challenges, and we saw a little bit of a decline. But we're looking forward to inviting many new students next year, and our projections are pretty solid in the years to come. So we anticipate seeing that 180 growing with every year. Yep.
And although we're taping this in advance, I understand that people can enroll, or you can check out. Do you have an open house or anything like that coming up at the school?
We had an open house earlier this year, but families are more than welcome to reach out at any time. They can reach out to the front office and come in for a tour. We'd be happy to sit down with them to begin the application process, whether circumstances would warrant them starting. We're coming to the end of the year. We have about 28 academic days left. So we're sort of at the end. But
Oh, wow.
we
I
have
didn't realize that. I have two children. I didn't even realize that. Okay. 28
Oh,
days.
yes.
Wow.
Summer is quickly upon us. Quickly upon us, but families are more than welcome to go to our website to reach out to us. If students want to come in for a shadow day to just experience what a day is like here, we can always facilitate that year round, and they can always come in for a tour and begin that process so that when they're ready and they determine that this is the place they want their children to be, they're able to begin at their earliest convenience. So, yeah.
And then you had mentioned the pandemic briefly, and I know as a parent, I have a child in fourth grade and a child in seventh grade, and I mean, I guess I shouldn't go into my fourth grader's academic progress, but that we definitely felt a hit with the in-home learning or at-home learning. She definitely struggled, and I guess this is nationwide. What particular challenges has the post-pandemic world posed to the Assumption School in terms of getting kids to learn again?
Sure. There was the academic difficulties, just missing so much instructional time. We tend to talk about that. But what honestly, I think the biggest impact was the social emotional side of things. Especially our youngest students, if you imagine a first grader who maybe would have previously had a year of kindergarten and a year or two of preschool, socially kind of developing, getting to know other kids, working in groups, playing nice. A lot of children had that opportunity taken away from them via quarantine or what have you. And so a lot of our younger students really are coming into first grade, second grade, third grade without having a lot of that social foundation built up. So
Mm.
one of the biggest challenges I know we're experiencing, and we're not unique in that, is just helping kids get back to having fun again, right? To laugh, to have fun in a classroom, to work in a group, to learn how to play nice and play fair. A lot of those skills that just develop year after year in those early grades. There's that 2-year gap or so, even more, 2.5, where so many of them were just not having those day-to-day encounters. And so trying to give them opportunities to be in groups and to socialize is just as important as getting back to the academic rigor. That's what we're finding here. And we're trying to do that.
And then, as a first-year principal, are there any specific goals you're hoping to accomplish as a first-year principal?
You know, back to that pandemic piece. I mean, we lost a lot of the traditions that make this community what it is. We're getting ready to graduate our 110th class. So the school's been here in Ansonia for a while now. And over the years, we've developed so many different traditions and unique aspects of life here at school that the pandemic unfortunately caused us to stop. Just it was an abrupt halt. So in addition to the academic and the social constraints, right, a little bit of the Assumption identity was lost. And what I see, being that I've been in the building for a while as multiple different roles, taking on this leadership perspective now as principal, I've been trying this year, and it's going to be an ongoing process. I really want to get back to bringing a lot of the different social experiences and a lot of the fun opportunities of having families come together, and a lot of those things that we had to put on the back burner or give up altogether. I want to bring them back to really get back to those traditional elements. So that's really my primary goal, in addition, of course, to helping our teachers professionally develop to be the best they can be. We have a phenomenal team, but there's always room for growth. And being that we are a small school, we work together very closely. So helping to mentor and make sure that we have the resources available to the teachers so that they can put their best foot forward in the classroom. Technology is always at the forefront of my mind as well, making sure that we have the most up-to-date suite of technology available, because these young students, when they're going into high school, into college, into workforce, technology is the name of the game in many industries. And so making sure that they are adequately prepared
Mm.
to have a seat at the table and in the conversation with those skills that they could bring into their industries from a technological perspective. So, you mentioned, Eugene, that you're sort of a one-man band there at Valley Indy, right?
Absolutely.
In a certain extent, we don't have a large administrative infrastructure here. We have a phenomenal team, but there are many different aspects that I want to focus on, and those are really just a few. But it's a constant back and forth conversation with the community. When parents send their children to a private school such as ours, right, we don't receive funding from sources other than tuition, fundraising, the generosity of donors. And so there really is a buy-in. There is an investment on the part of families that I want to make sure communication is open, make sure people's ideas and inspirations are brought to the table, because truly all of our current families, they're just as much a part of the experience and the community here of Assumption as myself and the teachers. So there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of interplay between the parents and myself, making sure that their needs are met and their ideas are being brought to the forefront as well. So lot on my plate, but it's a phenomenal place. It's a phenomenal opportunity, and I'm so blessed to have the opportunity to serve as principal here at Assumption. It's a great place.
And then in terms of the Great Give, I mean, the context of this interview is that the Great Give is live as this broadcast is being shared with the public, and people can actually donate to the Assumption School at thegreatgive.org. I'll share the screen real fast and show how easy it is to make a donation if you're so inclined, and I do encourage people to do so. You can just go to thegreatgive.org and you can just type in Assumption School and it'll bring you right to the donation page. By the time this airs, there will also be on valleyindy.org, I will list every local nonprofit organization that is participating in today's Great Give. You can learn all about the school there. You can watch a video. As we can see right now, there is a lot happening. Principal Bourke, is there any particular goal in terms of fundraising today during the Great Give? Do you have any specific plan as to how you want to use the donations?
So there are always, always things looming before us. As I said, the school has been around for a while, and we're incredibly blessed to be in our original building. Maintenance costs on our building continue to increase, as well as with every year. And I know my friends in the public school are experiencing some of this as well. There is an ever increasing pressure and responsibility on our part to make sure that we are adequately providing for the needs of our staff, our faculty, and the students. And to answer your question, Eugene, there is not a specific item that we're necessarily projected towards, but any donations and any generosity that we receive goes ultimately towards our mission, which is really posted above our door. We are here to help encourage students to learn and grow, ultimately to go forth and serve. And so whether that's increasing our technology suite, bringing new clubs into the building, any donations that are brought in through a conversation with families and donors and the school board, we try our very best to make sure that it's going kind of at the pointy end of the spear, so to speak, towards the most effective use in bringing about that mission. So
People should donate. I mean, obviously, the reputation of the school precedes it here. It's not like anybody watching this video isn't familiar with Assumption and what it means to Ansonia and the Valley and beyond. So there's certainly, of course, a legacy there. And that's why it's very nice to have you on here. And it's nice to make your acquaintance online. So I do appreciate your time, Mr. Principal.
And thank you again for inviting me. Again, for all those who may be interested in donating, if you've had a family member or a friend come through our school, if you're an alum and maybe you've lost contact, please feel free to reach out. We're trying to build up our alumni base. If you have any fond memories of maybe attending an event here at the school, or of a buddy who went to the school, or anything, please always feel free to reach out. One of the things I really want to do is to make sure that our communication with the wider community is continuing to build and grow, because as I said, our students, while they're here, they're learning and growing so they can go forth and serve. And that service might bring students into all sorts of different industries and areas and avenues. And it's always great to hear those stories come back and to see how what was done here in the building has really gone out into the wider community. So I'd encourage anybody, if you want to come in and maybe go for a tour, if you haven't ever seen our building before, or maybe it's been decades and you want to swing by for a tour, please feel free to reach out. We would love to facilitate that and to get to know you and build up that communication again. Okay. So I'm so appreciative of anybody who has donated or who continues to donate. As I said, we are completely funded through tuition and fundraising and private donations. And so the work we're doing here is in so much, it's so founded on that generosity. And so I cannot thank all of you enough for whether you're just maybe beginning to think about it, or you've donated in the past, or are planning on donating in the future. I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I speak for the entire team here. Thank you for your work. Yeah.
And is this I just typed in Assumption alumni onto Facebook. Is this this is sort of a new page? Is this
Absolutely,
the actual page?
We try to keep everybody updated on Facebook, and you can certainly check that out. You could always reach out to the front office as well and talk to Heather Pomponio, who's here in our office on Thursday. She's our advancement director. She or myself or Mrs. Izzo in the front office, we can get you connected however you'd like to be connected, to make sure that you're up to date on everything that's going on. Yep.
Wonderful. So thank you again for taking the time, and please support Assumption School during the Great Give. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All the best. Thank you.